What's going on, everyone? So Tay Thursday is over with, okay? It's in the books, but I just wanted to do a quick video clip because this will be the last time that we're going to see the Cornwell toolbox. It's been a really good toolbox, to be honest, overall. It was kind of nice to get this as a career box when I was over at the Chrysler dealership. It was at the independent shop for a little while. We did customize it a little bit and turn it into a welding bench, which you guys are aware of. But now it's going to be some Needy Tech's toolbox. My gear wrench rep has found somebody, and we'll give it a good home. So I feel like, you know, it was a good box overall. I was quite satisfied with the drawer depth and everything else. But by selling this box to my gear wrench rep and him finding somebody that needs it, I was able to clear up my Cornwell tool debt. And I'm more than happy to do that too, because I did get this one for free, and this one is my new at-home toolbox, and I am pretty content and happy with it. And that just gives us another opportunity to find something else to try to make some alterations to and customize. But that's not all for this video, guys. I'm going to come back to the house. I have something I got to go do real quick. I'm going to come back to the house, and we're going to discuss some of my favorite heavy line jobs to do and some of my least favorite heavy line jobs to do at the automotive shop. So we'll see you guys in a little bit.
What's going on, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. So Gear Wrench Jeff showed up to the house today and picked up the Cornwell toolbox. He's got it for sale. I think he already has somebody that bought it. So I hope that person actually enjoys the toolbox as much as I did. And I hope you enjoyed the welding steel table or steel top that I actually built for it. So hopefully you get some use out of that. That being said, what does that do for me? Well, Cornwell's officially paid off as of last month. Because I was able to sell this to Jeff, he went ahead and took care of that. Bam! So, paying off debt, moving forward with my 2020. Today we're going to be talking about some of my favorite heavy line jobs though, so I hope you guys stick around and enjoy the content, and then you can share with me your thoughts, opinions, and what some of your favorite heavy line jobs are if you're a mechanic. Kicking it off with number one, look, you know, I think one of those things that is become a little bit more gravy-ish to me has been rear-wheel drive transmission poles, okay? There's not much to them. You got a cross member that comes across, you got a drive shaft, couple of electrical connectors, maybe even the exhaust is in the way, boom, boom, drop it, out the door, right? And in some cases, even a manual transmission is a lot more easier than an automatic, because you don't have to worry about moving the starter out of the way to get to the torque converter bolts or having stubborn oil pans on the way and things like that. You can literally just undo the bell housing bolts and yank it back. Now, sometimes they can be kind of a pain in the ass, and you have to get an extra set of hands in there so they can pry it back while you're wiggling and jiggling from the back. And even the same exact thing goes for when you're re-stabbing it. So it's always beneficial if you have somebody else to give you an extra hand, because I know how frustrating it can get. One of the second jobs that I actually prefer as a mechanic is cylinder heads, but not just any kind of cylinder heads. Let me specify. I am not a huge fan of timing belts. I know there's a lot of people out there that do enjoy timing belts, and they call them gravy jobs. That's great. I'm glad that you actually found a system that works for you, but in the time frame that I've been doing this, I can tell you I always have a problem with timing belts. Don't know what it is. Can't put my finger on it. I've tried just about every way from Sunday, from putting a dot on one end and putting a dot on the other and counting the freaking teeth in between and trying to line everything back up. One way or another, I'm still always what seems like a half a tooth off on one gear or one full tooth off on another. So, not my most enjoyable time. Now, I will tell you that I do prefer chain engines. Those just seem to come easy to me. Maybe it's because I worked at Chrysler and a lot of the newer stuff that they had when I was there were all chain driven. Or maybe it's because I worked on a lot of older engines that were chain operated, right? With the double rollers from small block Chevy to just the single roller from, you know, the Jeep Inline 6. It always seems that the timing chains are easier, and most times they're not even attached or associated with the head. Sometimes they're completely separate, right? So you got to kind of pick your flavor of what's going to work for you as far as what your favorite jobs are. I'm just listing off some of the ones that I actually enjoy. Now, I don't mind doing some water pumps, not really a heavy line job. I don't mind doing engine pulls depending on the engine. Some of those Traverse engines can be kind of a pain in the ass, especially if you have to go into full service mode. If you're not sure what full service mode is, that's when they have to take the entire bumper off the car, the grill, the core support, the radiator, the condenser, all this stuff's got to come off just so you can pull it. Now some cars you kind of get lucky and you can drop the engine and the transmission all the way down onto the ground and lift the car all the way up in the air. Sometimes you don't get so lucky and you have to undo the rack of pinion and everything else, all the wiring, and drop the entire subframe with engine and transmission sitting on jack stands and then remove it. So engine pulls can be fun depending on the car that you're working on. Doing engine pulls on a classic car is actually kind of fun. So I would probably put that at my number 3. Number 4, so I used to get a kick out of rebuilding rear ends over at Chrysler. Now I only had to do a couple in the shop. The other ones that I had to rebuild were in class. And of course I didn't mind rebuilding some of the old Ford 9 inches from back earlier in my career when I started community college, and we were doing them on the dirt track cars. Haven't done it in years, would probably take me a second and having a little bit of assistance to try to work the lash back and forth. But I think once I get back into it, I can get the hang of it. Nowadays we just replace the entire tube, gearing assembly and everything. There's really no adjustment at the independent shop. It's complete assembly, or we pull the whole thing out and send it over to a specialist and they deal with it. So I guess it kind of saves me specialty tools and measuring lash, this, that, and the other, and correcting it, and you know, pinion depth and everything else. So, but I do remember those being some of the fun jobs because it was more intricate, more involved, and you were actually rebuilding and putting the gears on and stuff like that. I will tell you that I found out the hard way on an Eaton locker. I wasn't sure if it was clockwise or counterclockwise. I had another fellow friend that was next to me said, "It's counterclockwise, man. It's always counterclockwise." And he hit it with a gun and shoot it right in half. And I was like, well, that sucks. I guess we're getting a new locker. So you really got to kind of be careful when it comes to stuff like that. All right, but before we go ahead and wrap this stream up, I want to urge and encourage you guys to go over to Dorito and the Lunch at Cabre's channel. They got some great content. He's working on trying to make his content better. They got some new editing software, things like that, but the guy does a lot with the side-by-sides and buggies and carts and even the smaller motorcycles and stuff like that. Real cool dude, really glad to know him. If you guys haven't checked him out, I'll put the link down in the description so you can click on his channel. Head on over, tell him your boys said hi, and then drop him a subscribe and hit the bell. He goes live from time to time, and their live hangouts are awesome. I see guys in there that like Etard, and there's a couple other ones, and then I think Luch jumps in there from time to time, and then Dorito Man himself. He's usually on the big screen, and they got a lot of good topics that they talk about, so I thoroughly enjoy jumping on their live streams. All right, guys, well, that'll pretty much wrap it up for me this evening. I hope you enjoyed today's content. Again, put it down in the comments. Tell me some of your favorite heavy line jobs. Try to see if I can't get back to your comments as soon as I possibly can. And I hope you guys are enjoying your Thursday night and are ready for Friday. Cheers to those of you that have your beers. We'll see you next time. Doses.
I can taste